I think Eternals looks good.
Bullshit, asshole. No one likes
The Eternals.
Yeah, well, I do.
Watch your back!
Say I come down since the last album. Will lick my dick, how does that sound? Smell my gooch, you could kiss my buns. And I don't give a shit, bend my rectum.
What's up guys, it's Tex here, and welcome back to another episode of Unpopular Comic Book Movie Opinions. It's been a few months since we had a new entry in this series, so a while ago I put out a post asking you guys to share with me your unpopular opinions, and we had a decent amount of replies. So I went through and found the more unique takes, and tried to find ones that we haven't already covered before in previous videos, and I found a good amount, so let's go ahead and take a look at some of these hot takes. The Snyder Cut is so overrated, and that's coming from a guy that likes the Snyder Cut. If comparing the Avenger movies, it might be the same level as Age of Ultron in my opinion. Snyder Cut 6.5 out of 10, Age of Ultron 6 out of 10. If you're new to my channel, I recommend you check out my Age of Ultron video I did last year. But the short version is this: I really don't like Age of Ultron, it let me down, it was very disappointing. And I personally think the Snyder Cut is better than the first two Avenger movies, and is on par with Infinity War. But that's just me. Batman Begins is definitely one of the most underrated superhero movies ever. It literally has more Batman / Bruce Wayne than The Dark Knight. Yeah, that's true. Out of the whole Dark Knight trilogy, this one focuses on Bruce Wayne the most. And when discussing the trilogy, it often gets overlooked because of how much bigger the sequels were. Ronan being distracted by a dance-off before his defeat was just as dumb as Whedon's Steppenwolf succumbing to fear and his parademons turn on him. Yeah, I really like Guardians of the Galaxy, but I thought that moment was just dumb. And I know it was supposed to be funny, but I just didn't find it humorous at all. Jim Carrey's The Mask is an underrated comic book movie. I think that's true in the sense that people don't know that it's a comic book movie. Because the movie was very popular, and honestly it still kind of is. A lot of people think it's one of the funniest comedies from the 90s, and many consider it one of Jim Carrey's best movies. But yeah, majority of people don't know that's actually based off a comic book. Hell, I didn't know until like a decade ago. So I guess you could argue it's probably one of the funniest and best comic book movies ever made. Although it does deviate from the source material by being more comedic as opposed to horror, but still a very good movie. Zack Snyder would be a perfect director for a Crow or Spawn movie. Yeah, I can see that because they're both darker characters, and they seem right up Zack Snyder's alley. But for me personally, when it comes to The Crow, I don't want anyone to really remake that movie. I guess mainly out of respect for Brandon Lee, because it was his last performance, and it was great. Although I guess the Crow sequels already kind of messed that up, so I guess might as well remake it then. Hasn't there been a rumor for the past like 4 to 5 years that Jason Momoa was going to play the Crow? And Spawn is actually greatly overdue for a remake. And I personally think you could still use Michael J. White. Seriously, have you seen this guy recently? He's in great shape.
Do I think Michael is a tough guy? No.
The two Hellboy movies by Guillermo del Toro are super underrated, especially since, in my opinion, I think it's better than most of the MCU and DCEU movies, and easily has the best atmosphere and world building of any superhero movie. Also, funny fish man go burr.
I don't even get that.
Oh yeah, those movies are great. Also, they have some really great practical effects. Now, better than the MCU and DCEU? Well, that's up to your own personal preference. Ant-Man and the Wasp is in my top 10 MCU movies. I don't get why people don't like it though. Probably because it's one of the most bland and forgettable ones. It has some decent leads, but you have a boring villain, a boring plot, and the stakes just aren't really there. And not to mention, it had to follow Infinity War, so it just got completely overshadowed. I actually like the Fantastic Four movies, the Chris Evans ones at least. I don't think it's an amazing movie, but something about it gives me nostalgia when I was 5 watching it. I don't know what else to say something good about it, other than the fight scenes in them were solid. Yeah, I was about 11 when those came out. I remember liking them when I was younger, but the last time I remember watching them was back in like 2015, 2016. And besides a few cool moments and just watching Chris Evans, I didn't really enjoy it as much as I did when I was a kid. Birds of Prey was one of the top films in the DCEU. I have watched it 4 times. The action scenes are amazing, Black Mask is unhinged and threatening, and the style of it was colorful. Yeah, most of the action scenes were definitely top notch, but most of the characters were underdeveloped and not nearly as interesting as Harley Quinn herself. And the humor was like hit and miss throughout the whole thing. Some parts was really funny, other parts it was just awkward. And I wasn't a big fan of the third act. I don't think the movie's terrible though. Green Goblin was just okay in Spider-Man 2002. Oh no. No.
You done messed up!
Okay, so there's 3 rules in this channel. Rule number 1, I'm number 1. Rule number 2, Zack Snyder is the GOAT. Second only to Martin Scorsese. And number 3, you never, under any circumstances, criticize the Raimi trilogy. Unless, of course, I'm the one criticizing it, but hey, I'm number 1, so I can do that. But in all seriousness, I loved Green Goblin in the first Spider-Man movie. William Dafoe is just amazing in just about everything he does. Plus, the whole trilogy is kinda campy and funny, so he fits right into it. And I've never met a person who's seen these movies and didn't enjoy themselves. But if you don't like Green Goblin, then I understand. Just know that you're wrong, okay? Still waiting for a femboy superhero movie and for you to review it.
Me too, kid.
So we're at about the halfway point in the video, so let's see what kind of clickbait titles you guys came up with for me to use. Batman and Robin is a masterpiece? Not bad. Zack Snyder is an overrated hack? That could definitely work. Justice League is better than the Avengers 2012? Marvel released the Whedon Cinematic Universe? Not feeling that. The Snyder Cut in Batman vs Superman sucks? The Snyder Cut was garbage? That could work. That's a good one. The Emoji Movie is better than the Snyder Cut? Now where's my cut of the content I just gave you? You'll get nothing like it. SJW is good, think to CVM. Nah, I think I used one similar to this already. Snyder Cut is the worst superhero movie ever. We got a winner. That's gonna work. Thor 1 is actually a really good origin movie. It's okay, but I think the best thing about it is Loki. Even though Chris Hemsworth was pretty good as Thor, I think Tom Hiddleston as Loki actually stole the show. Shang-Chi is going to be more enjoyable than the Eternals. Just a feeling. I think it's more than just a feeling, I can guarantee that. Yeah, I'm getting a lot of shit for not liking the Eternals teaser trailer, which really surprised me actually. It's okay to like both the MCU and the DCEU. I see a lot of people claim that one is objectively better than the other. On this channel, it's DCEU bias, and on a channel like Cosmot Variety Hour, it's MCU bias. I think both have highs and lows. Yeah, I agree. He's not wrong. I just greatly prefer DC's movies and their characters over the MCU's, which is funny because Marvel characters got me into the genre. But really 2015, 2016 is when I started leaning more towards DC. Also, traps/femboys are not hot or cute. You know, because of that, we're going to have to go ahead and ignore your entire comment. I'm sorry. Can't be talking that reckless nonsense around here. The MCU was never good, especially post Phase 1. Oh no, I completely disagree. I've said it before and I'll say it again. The MCU itself is actually an amazing achievement. Over 20 films, all connected to each other, sharing the same universe. It's impressive. And sure, there's a lot of movies that just aren't that good, and a lot of them that are pretty bland and forgettable. Although the MCU itself, the whole shared universe, is still really cool. The Red movies with Bruce Willis, John Malkovich, and Mary Louise Parker are severely underrated and deserve more attention. Yeah, those movies are fucking badass. It's funny because I remember being hyped for the second one because I enjoyed the first one, but when it came out, I just never saw it until years later. But yes, they're both good movies. Spider-Man Homecoming is a bad Spider-Man film. Far From Home is superior. I actually like Homecoming more than Far From Home. I thought Homecoming had the better plot, the better villain, and overall was just more fun. Although Far From Home has some really great action set pieces, and Mysterio was pretty decent. I really like Jake Gyllenhaal, so that plays a part too. And we got two comments here saying that Dredd is underrated. I assume the first one's talking about the Sylvester Stallone one, and the second one's clearly talking about the 2012 one. I haven't seen the original, but I definitely love the 2012 one. I liked Jupiter's Legacy, which is unpopular compared to the people who have watched the show. Yeah, I haven't watched it, but I heard they already canceled the second season due to poor reception. And even though I haven't seen it, I want to include it in this video so I can ask you guys, did you enjoy it? Do you care it got canceled? Leave a comment, let me know. Kick-Ass 1 was the soul stone for all rated R superhero movies. Actually, I think that title goes to Blade 1. Tex is underrated. Funny, because according to some of these comments,
I'm gay. Tex is the GOAT, guys.
Amazing Spider-Man 1 is more enjoyable than Far From Home. I'm not so sure actually. I watched both of them recently, and though I found myself appreciating Amazing Spider-Man more than I originally did, there's still a lot of things about it that really hold it back, and I do kind of enjoy Far From Home more. Both these movies have their issues, but I think Amazing Spider-Man's is more glaring. Brightburn is misunderstood and overhated. I actually didn't know people hated Brightburn. From what I understand, a lot of people enjoyed it. I know I did. I thought it was a pretty solid movie. I mean, I don't think it lived up to the expectations that the trailers set, but I still found it to be pretty good. And that's going to do it for all the unpopular opinions. So what I want you to do is go down in the comment section and leave yours. And here's one of my unpopular opinions. I love Punisher Warzone. I find the movie chaotic, ridiculous, and fun. And the bloody violence was just excellent. And of course, if you enjoyed the video, go and drop a like on it. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.
I know what you're thinking. Why aren't I Pakistani or some stone dreadlock Jamaican while you're all being racists? Creepy Japanese men can be cabbies too, you know. But women should never be allowed to drive.